to stand because I have la bougeotte, comme on dit.
Ah ouais, tu peux faire deux.
Je peux pas m'asseoir comme ça. Je vais m'endormir. Sophia. Yeah. I tend to be a little ADHD sometimes.
Ah ouais, c'est vrai. Même à la fin de la journée.
Yeah. True. Do we have a dedication for tonight? You want to say les refuah shelema, les Ilui nishmat, someone particular? I have a list for refuah shelema that we can use if you like. People from our community. So welcome. Actually, I am welcome in your space. This is your home. And I'm very, very honored every time I came to feel that it's really made out of bricks of your own self. Like it's a very special thing. I'm just going to close the restroom door. I'm sorry. Up. So welcome to that you're inside of your home, of your common home, of this Mikdash Me'at, of this beautiful Bet Mordechai. And I just want to tell you that it was an honor this year to be able to meet with you more or less every month and get to know each other, can get to discover new people from the community also, and welcome Chaya that I knew from before, not from Bet Mordechai, but we knew each other from a long time ago. And today we're going to dedicate that class, Les Refuah Shelema, Ever Yona ben Rachel, Eliyahu Chaim Hanavi ben Tita Esther, Tinok Yitzhak ben Esther Sarah, Rafaela Michal bat Alexis Esther. Do you have somebody else? Maxime Nissim ben Rosa, merci. Maxime Nissim ben Rosa. Shlomo ben Fogele. Liora Bacteria bat Malka. And for all of those who need, for all our soldiers who need a refuah shelema in their guf, in their body, and in their health, mental health. I want to start this with a Tehillim and then with a song with you. Okay, we're going to sing together just to chill a little bit before we start. Welcome! How are you, Joanna? Ça va, grâce à Dieu. Hi! מזמור לתודה, הריעו לאדוני כל הארץ, עבדו את אדוני בשמחה, בואו לפניו ברננה, דעו כי אדוני הוא אלוהים, הוא עשנו ולא אנחנו, עמו וצאן מרעיתו, בואו שעריו בתודה, חצרותיו בתהילה, הודו לו ברכו שמו כי טוב אדוני לעולם חסדו והדור והדור אמונתו. And we're going to sing together a song that was created. Sorry, you want to take that seat?
No, I'm gonna go.
You want to go there? Okay, Mela. It's a song that you've known. We're going to sing it and then we're going to discuss it. Okay? Everybody has to sing it. כולנו יחזרו הביתה. כי עם הנצח לעולם לא מפחד. כל עבודה. עם ישראל חי. עם ישראל חי. ולבדוק גם בשעת הכי קשה, והקדוש ברוך הוא שומר עלינו. בוא נעשה ושלום בינינו, שמור על ילדינו, כי לא אתה אמונה. Am Israel Chai. What a beautiful, beautiful song. And this song happened to us, came to us as a gift, really as a gift, right after October 7th. It was created, I think, in a few hours, I think over 6 hours. What's his name? Eyal Golan. He wrote it. It came almost as a prophecy. Mamash, really, it came like that. Why? Because Hashem sent us a gift. He sent us this message. This is not a message from Eyal Golan only. It's a message from God. And the one that came the year after, by the way, which is Hashem Yitbarach, Tamid Ohev Oti, V'tamid Yeh li rak tov. What does it tell us? It tells us first, October 7th happened, and you think whatever you said, like in the past, never again, the Holocaust would never again happen, and look at what is happening now. You might think, is this the end? Is this the end of this beautiful nation called Am Israel? But HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave the nevuah, almost, I want to say, the prophecy, almost, the inspiration at least, for sure, to Eyal Golan to write this song as a message to us all. It's not stam just a song that we sang, we were feeling good to be together. No, it is a song that says, don't worry. Don't worry, because Am Israel, it lives. And what does it mean that it lives? What does it mean to be alive? We saw it here, I think around the month of January maybe. We saw that life is actually a soul that enters a physicality, a body, right? Am Israel Chai. Am Israel is alive. There is a soul behind this body of Am Israel. Some people might think, what do you mean, like this body of Am Israel? Where is that body? That body is us. We are one body. And how do we know that? We experience it. And I feel like since October 7th, personally, and I know so many women experienced it, you were in Israel on October 7th. We were not. And I'm going to tell you something. The pain that you experienced was something, but here in Miami and everywhere else in Chutz La'aretz, outside of Eretz Israel, we also experience within ourselves a pain. Hello, how are you? Welcome. A pain that no one could explain. No one could explain that pain. I have a friend who's a very well-known cardiologist in a hospital. She was. Now she moved to a private practice. But you know what happened at that time? Welcome. Come, my love, come. Some people who are not Jewish were coming to her and saying, why are you so touched? What is hurting so badly? Like, do you have family over there? Yes, we have millions of relatives over there. Ça va, ma Jen? And it's more than relatives, because it's part of yourself. Yeah. The pain that we experienced is the proof that there is one body to Am Israel. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu, on October 7th, 2023, he said, you are going to go through a trauma. One more time, there is a nation that raises to extinguish you. But Am Israel Chai. And he sends us that song. Why? To give us tikva, hope. To remember, I am here, I made you a promise. You are my children. We have a covenant that happened in 2448. It's called Matan Torah, the gift of the Torah, that married Am Israel, or those Jews that were not yet one nation, to me, Akadosh Baruch Hu. And you know, because we saw it in the several classes that we did earlier in the winter, that Hashem is one. Remember we said Shema Israel. Okay, Hashem is our God. Hashem is one. And we said that the neshama that comes into the body is a chelek eloka, mimal mamash, meaning like a part of Hashem. So if what makes you alive individually, you Chaya for instance, if you're alive, it's because you have a neshama that came into your body. And that made this body alive. Well, the soul of Israel, of Am Israel, that one body made of all of us, that we experience, that we've been experiencing physically deep inside of us, we feel that pain. Today I was listening to a beautiful podcast by a friend of mine called Ida Schodenstein. It's called From the Inside Out. And they were interviewing Rachel Goldberg Poplin, the mother of one of our Chatufim who died, and Ersh, exactly, Ersh.
She's amazing.
She is amazing. She's amazing. You have to listen to that podcast. It's really mind-blowing. It's beautiful. And I don't know why I was saying that. I forgot. But anyways, she was, I don't remember why I was saying that. I'm sorry. But anyways, so the soul of Am Israel enters the guf. Yeah, she was saying like how like she felt that we were all just one people, one nation. It entered Am Israel, so the individuals, in Har Sinai. And what are we about to celebrate in 2 days, Bezrat Hashem? Shavuot. Shavuot, that means the weeks. The weeks. What are those weeks? Those weeks are the destination. This Chag is the destination of an elevation that happened between Pesach and Shavuot. Shavuot is the only Chag that doesn't have a fixed date in the calendar. You would say, no, it's the 6th of Sivan. True, but we don't count it like that. In the Torah, it appears as the 50th day after Pesach. So you have to count the days in order to know when Shavuot is. Why? Because it's teaching us something beautiful. The destination is not always the most important thing in, let's say, in a marriage, because we said that Shavuot represents a marriage between Hashem and us. But even in life, what counts are the Shavuot, meaning the journey, the 7 weeks that made you go to that destination. You know, sometimes you're like, I'll be happy when, I'm gonna do that when, I'll be religious when, I'll keep Shabbat when. And the end, no, enjoy the ride, because the journey is actually what really makes you go to that destination. Anyways, so we said it's on Har Sinai that soul entered the body of Am Israel and made us alive, made us chai. Right? Now I want to ask you a question. What is a Jew? It's a weird question. Ma? A descendant of Abraham, okay. What are the Muslims then? What are the Christians then? What is a Jew? If you ask an anti-Semitic person, he's going to tell you it's evil. But what is really a Jew? A chosen what? The chosen people, okay. The Jews are chosen people. A strong nation. What is a Jew? A light. Beautiful. Okay. A neshama.
It's the soul who was present at Har Sinai.
It's a soul that was present at Har Sinai. You're right also. It's true. Many things. You're right. All of this is true. And you're right, it's also descendant of Avraham. Not only, that's not what defines them, but yes. And who is a Jew? You can be a Jew in two ways.
The mother.
Right? So either you are born from a Jewish mom, and that makes you a Jew. And very interesting, if you are born from a Jewish mom, you cannot un-Jew. Do you know that?
No.
Even if, God forbid, someone converts to Christianity or Islam or whatever, he's still a Jew. You are born a Jew, you will remain a Jew. Interesting. What's behind that? Or you convert to Judaism. And what is a conversion to Judaism? It's very interesting. We learn about the conversion of Judaism also on Shavuot. When we read Megillat Ruth. Megillat Ruth, for those who speak English. Okay, we're going to say Megillat Ruth because otherwise it will too much Megillat Ruth. Anyways, so Megillat Ruth is the story of a princess, but it's better than Disney, right? Because they don't live forever, what is his name? Happily ever after. And that never happens, we all know that, because we've been married. I'm kidding. We know that this is not just the end of the story, the end. No, that's the beginning. That's when you invest, that's when you share, etc., etc. So how does she become a Jew? She is from a very interesting family. She comes from the palace of the kingdom of Moab. Have you ever heard about Moab? Moab, we see that word, that name appears in Parashat, in the Sefer Bereshit. So in Genesis, right? When do we learn from them? We learn from this name when Lot, who was the nephew of Abraham, and when I say Abraham now, I'm going to show you, I don't know why, because you mentioned his name. So he was the nephew of Abraham. And he also followed Avraham Avinu in this journey towards making the entire humankind discover Hashem, right, and his greatness. But at one point, we learned that Lot separates from Avraham. He goes in one part of the country, and Avraham goes in another part. And Lot goes in a city called Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, Amorah. Okay, so you all heard about that. It's Sodom and Gomorrah in English. And what happened in this city? This city is a very perverted city, right? And because of that, because of this perversion, the people in Sodom and Amorah, they hate good deeds, and namely one that is very important and very dear to Avraham Avinu is hospitality. It's forbidden in the city to have guests. You can't have guests. It's forbidden, okay? Namely, anyways, Hashem decides to destroy that city. Avraham is going to try to negotiate with HaKadosh Baruch Hu to save as many people as possible, and it ends up that he only is unable to save Lot and his family. But the thing is that Lot comes out with his two girls and his wife. His wife, you know the story, she turns away on the destruction, and she's also destroyed, transformed into salt, right? And Lot and his two girls who witnessed that get a refuge in a cave, and the two girls think that the entire humankind is destroyed, and they say, we have to rebuild humanity. We have to have a baby from Me-Av, the father. So Moab is actually the name that was given to the baby that was born of an incest between Lot and one of his daughters. Okay? So Moab inherits those bad traits, and it becomes also a people, a population, a nation that doesn't have good deeds, that doesn't have good midot. And at one point when the Bnei Israel come out of Egypt, they encounter they go in the place of Moab, and they encounter the people of Moab. The men go out in the street and they refuse to help the Bnei Israel at that point. And it is sealed in the Torah that because of their bad deeds, no Moabite, no person from Moab will ever be able to convert to Judaism. A woman cannot marry, a Jewish woman cannot marry a man of Moab. Okay? He will never be accepted. So there is another person in Eretz Israel, in Bethlehem. So now the Jews are in Eretz Canaan, in Eretz Israel. Okay? And they receive the Torah. They are over there. They are ruled by the judges at that time. And there is a very, very famous person that is a very rich landlord in Eretz Israel, whose name is Elimelech. Elimelech is very rich. He has two sons who are Kilion and Machlon, and his wife Naomi. There is a big famine in Eretz Israel, and instead of trying to help his fellows go through that famine by giving them some food and some of his money, he decides to go for himself with his family to the place of Moab, which is more or less Jordan today. So he goes to Moab. Over there, unfortunately, goes down. He loses everything. He dies. And his two sons, Kilion and Machlon, get married with two princesses from Moab. One is Ruth, the other one is Orpah. They are not Jewish. And Naomi accepts that, but Machlon and Kilion also both die. And now she's left, Naomi, from this beautiful place where she was in Bethlehem, where she was very wealthy, etc. She ends up being alone in life. And she tells her daughter-in-laws, you know what, like, go back to your family because I don't have anything else to offer you. I don't have any other sons, so you could get married and get a descendant to my sons who died. So go back to your family. Go back to your royalty. Your parents probably will accept you back. I'm going to go to Bethlehem, back to Israel. She goes back to Israel. The two daughter-in-laws at first follow her. And at the end, she manages she discusses with them and tells them, I don't have anything. We're not from the same place. You know, like, why are you following me? I don't have anything to offer you. Orpah goes away, goes back. She kisses her and she cries, but she goes back. And Ruth is actually going to say something to Naomi. She will say to her, wherever you go, I will go. Your God is my God. And with that, and a few more steps in the protocol, she actually converts and she becomes a Jew. We're going to see that she embodies kindness, humility, and royalty. Not only she embodies royalty, but she inherits royalty through Ruth, who is a convert from Moab, who worked on herself in order to become a good person, in order to be kind, to do little choice. She chose to small things of kindness, small act of kindness that transformed her. And by her merit, we will have the dynasty of David HaMelech end of Mashiach. So imagine this convert, who is the first convert, so to say. We discovered also that Yitro was also known as a convert, but he joined the nation of Israel at another moment. At the moment of Har Sinai, he joined, and he abandoned his life as a worshiper and a pagan to join the people of Israel. So definitely he's known and he's recognized for that. He was the father-in-law of Moshe. But the first real convert and the person from whom we learn conversion, the protocol, is Ruth. And why do we read about Ruth on Shavuot? For several reasons. One reason is because Shavuot is also the Ilula, the yard site, the Askara, of David HaMelech, her great-grandson. Okay? And then it's also because she chose to become a Jew. And what do we do on Shavuot? We choose to renew our vows with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Somehow we choose to tell Hashem, I love you and I want to be with you again this year one more time. The same way on your anniversary, you're so excited to tell your husband or to write a little letter to your husband. Remember that beautiful picture that we have on the buffet in the dining room? Well, I love you even more than then. Shavuot is the moment where you're going to say that to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ma? Of the what? Of the cheesecake? The milk. So for several reasons. We're going to see that if you want. Why do we eat milchik, dairy, on Shavuot? First of all, because it was the first day where we received the Torah. Before that, there was no law of kashrut. We didn't know really how to do the shrita and everything. So instead of eating meat that we were not sure how to do the shrita, so we ate milk instead. Also, because Hashem promises us a land of milk and honey. And it's Eretz Israel, right?
Wait, I missed. I'm sorry. What was the reason?
The first reason is that we received the Torah that day. If, for instance, like you didn't know that you had to eat kosher, which animal was kosher, not kosher. Suddenly they tell you, okay, this animal is kosher, this one is not kosher, and this is how you're going to do the shrita, how you're going to shecht, how do you say shecht? Slaughter, thank you, the animal, in order for it to be kosher. But you don't really have time to do that. You don't even learn yet how to do that. So instead of that, they started eating dairy because they were safe. Yeah, they knew that the milk was coming from a kosher animal. Now they knew which animal was kosher. And so they milked a cow, or probably a cow or whatever, like a goat or something like that. And they knew that the milk was kosher. So that's why in remembrance for that, in memory for that, we have the tradition to eat some dairy. But just one thing halachically, it's nice to eat dairy if you do a kiddush, for instance, like Friday morning, right? You're going to, after the kiddush, eat some dairy. But then you have to eat meat for the lunch because it's still a seudat, it's a chag. So we don't just stay with dairy, but I know many people love dairy. I can't digest dairy, so I don't have that problem. But basically what do? You change your tablecloths, or you add, before you eat the dairy, like you put like a plastic or whatever, you eat your dairy, take it away, wash your mouth or eat something in the meantime, and eat your dafina, or you name it, your tagine, on Friday lunch.
It's not like at night you do.
No, so at night, I don't know if really, if it's your kef, it's really like your biggest thing that you love eating dairy, and you dislike eating meat, then you're allowed to. But
No, but because it's Shabbat, you have to eat meat, no?
you have to eat meat on Shabbat, definitely. But on Chag also, you have to eat meat. So that's why, like, it's a good thing, for instance, when you come back. So Thursday night, there's the tradition to learn Torah all night. So us women, we are not bound with things that are time related. But it's also fun, like I like personally, I have some of my friends who come and we learn at my house. Not the entire night, but until like 2, 3 in the morning. Sometimes it depends, like if we're inspired or not, and the company and the food. But anyways, it's a very nice thing. But then in the morning, very early, so my boys and my husband, for instance, they stay overnight, and then in the early morning at Nets, they pray Shacharit, the prayer of the morning, right? Then they come back home, they do a kiddush, and there, like I have a lot of dairy for them at that moment. And then I go to listen to the 10 Commandments and to pray Shacharit in shul. Usually the kids come for an ice cream. I don't know if you're going to do that here or not, but it's a fun thing like to do. They like to do like an ice cream moment for the kids. And the women learn a little bit of Torah. Maybe there's a shiur or a class or something. And then we go back home. Usually the men are sleeping. And then we do the kiddush. And then we eat. If you like dairy, you can eat dairy. And then later on that day, but not too late because it's going to be Shabbat afterwards, you eat your meat for the mitzvah of eating meat. That's it. If you dislike meat or if you're a vegan, you don't need to eat meat. It's Oneg Chag or Oneg Shabbat. So voilà. Okay, so we were saying that a Jew is either a convert or someone who was born from a Jewish mom. Okay? Now, you're with me? You're okay? Can we do like 30 more minutes or should I shrink the... You're fine? Who? Yeah. So we're good? I can go? Okay. And because I can go, but I'm older, I'm going to put on my on my glasses. Okay. So now, bear with me because I worked on this shiur with a lot of love, and I wanted to really try to understand what happened. What happened at Har Sinai? So before that, I want to go back to Bereshit. Bereshit is the moment of creation. What happened? How did Hashem create the world? He created the world with 10 utterance, with 10 speeches, okay? With 10, not words, but with 10 sentences. Utterance, we can say, no? Says utterances. Anyways, he spoke. Okay, he spoke and he created the world through his speech, right? That was at the moment of Bereshit. What did he create? We say today was the Chumash party of my daughter, Sarah Simcha. She's 7. Baruch Hashem, merci beaucoup. And she learned the first words of Torah, the first psukim of Torah. And she learned Bereshit, at the beginning, Bara Elokim, and Hashem said, created the world. He created what? He created Et Hashamayim, so the sky, the heavens, Ve'et Haaretz, and the land. And it's very interesting because he could say like he created heavens and land, right? But no, there is the Et Hashamayim, Ve'et Haaretz. Like there's this vav in the middle that is really like almost like a separation. And this separation really existed. At the very beginning of creation, there was a klipa, says the Chassidut, which is like a thick peel, like a peel of fruit, a klipa, une écorce, okay, between heavens and land. Between heavens, which represent the spiritual world, and earth, that represents the physical world. What does it mean? Do we have any idea what it means? No. We can only imagine because the world we live in today, it's the physical holds the spiritual, and the spiritual contains is contained inside of the physical. We are in a world where, for instance, Edith, you brought a case of a mezuzah, right? And inside of that case, we put a parchment of a mezuzah, right? This parchment is physical, right? Something is written on it. Because that thing is written on it, it contains a form of kedusha, of holiness. This parchment is not like any piece of paper. You cannot throw the parchment of the mezuzah on the floor, right? Same way. Sorry. Same way. There is, over there are some Torah scrolls, okay? On those Torah scrolls, same thing, like something is written. On your Shabbos table, your table of Shabbat, okay? What happened? Every single week, your husband says the Kiddush. Maybe your kids sing. You make beautiful food. You bring into that Shabbat table Kedusha, distinction. This table is not like any other table. It absorbed your words, because in the world we live in today, spirituality gets into physicality. And we know that. You're not going to throw the tefillin of your husband on the floor. You're not even going to throw the bread of the motzi in the garbage. You don't do that. Why? It's bread. And so, no. We did the hamotzi on it. You're not even giving that bread of the hamotzi to the animals, to the fishes or things like that. It's very, very special. It absorbed the kedusha, right? At that time, it wasn't like that. I just want to say one little story. I love one Rav whose name is Rav Shlomo Fachi. Rav Shlomo Fachi, he works at the Safra in New York, and but he was born in New Jersey, in Deal, and then he moved to England, to London. He was in charge of a movement called Chazak, which is like a Kiruv movement for Sephardim in London. And he was saying that he got married. He bought like his Shabbos table in London. For many, many years, they were having like a lot of people in their house for Shabbat. He did so many divrei Torah on his table that when he was brought back to United States by the Chazak movement to work at the Safra in New York, he said, like, I'm bringing my books, my kids, and my wife, and my Shabbat table. And the moving company said, listen, like, why are you going to bring that table? It's not a beautiful table. Like it's an IKEA table or something like that. Why do you need that table? And he said, this table is kadosh. It is kadosh. Your table is kadosh. And when you set up the tablecloth, or when you set up the table for Shabbat or for Chag, don't give it up to anyone else. Do it yourself, because it's like a Kohen Gadol that sets up his altar. It's really, really special, but that's a little aparté. So what does it mean? It means that for years, for thousands of years, the world was separated. We say that the Avot did the mitzvot of the Torah, right? We say that Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov did all the Torah, but in a spiritual way. He did, Avraham, for instance, he did put the tefillin in a way that was only spiritual. He didn't need the physical thing. He lived in another time and age, in another stage of creation, where he didn't need to wrap his arm in tefillin in order to do the mitzvah of tefillin. Okay, it was the spiritual part. Welcome. Yeah. Ta-da! I continue. Okay. What happened in 2000? Oh, wait, before that. So that was at the very beginning of creation. Then, who were the first who were the first how do you call that? Human beings at creation, Adam and Chava, right? Adam and Chava were created the sixth day of creation. They were created and Hashem gave them a mission. What did they give them? He said, you can benefit from all the fruits of this garden. But one thing, you cannot eat from that tree of knowledge of good and evil, the Etz HaDaat. That's the only thing I'm asking you. They had the choice. Hashem didn't program them. He made them have the ability to choose to, yes, respect Hashem's words or not. And why did they choose? They chose not to. Chava decided to touch the tree, well, convinced by the snake, but whatever. And at the end, they chose to not respect Hashem's words. And what happened? They fell into a world. From Gan Eden, they fell into this world where we are, right? Almost. And they failed their mission. Another 10 generations after them comes Noah. So during those 10 generations, it's very interesting that humanity is perverted, very, very perverted, very not nice, very unkind. It says, I don't know if you remember, because after October 7th, we were reading Bereshit those days. And that the week after October 7th, it was, I think, Parashat Noach, and people opened the parasha and saw that it said Hamas was all over earth, with blood in the earth. Yes, physicality was spoiled. Physicality was holding. Hamas was the perversion, the anger, the aggressivity, and the hatred. Okay? This is what is the Torah calls Hamas. And the soil, the dirt, was full of blood. So it's to say how chaotic it was, right? Comes one person, he's named Ish Tzadik Betorotav. He's an Ish, he's a man, he's a Tzadik, but not like a regular Tzadik, like among all human beings, in his generation. Had he been born in another generation, Noach, maybe he would not have been considered such a big tzaddik. But because he was born in this generation of darkness and perversion, so he stood out, right? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu goes to him and says to him, so we're 10th generation after Adam HaRishon, you are going to, so he say like, Aseh lecha teva. Make for yourself a teva, which is an arch. This ark, right, this boat, you have to follow a certain requirements in order to create that boat. That boat will save whoever is inside, because I am going to have to purify the physical world. Why? Right? From that Hamas, from that perversion. How am I going to do that? I'm going to create a flood, a mabul, a flood, le déluge, and it's like a mikvah for the earth. Like a mikvah for the earth. Okay, so what does Noach does? He looks at all the requirements. You have to plant a tree, to let it grow, so it takes time in order to cut it, to take the wood and to create that ark. So do you know how long it took Noach to build that arch? 120 years. 120 years. By the way, it's a lifetime for a human being. Today we say Ad 120, that you should live until 120. Why? Because that's a lifetime. So he spent an entire lifetime almost creating this boat. Hashem was expecting something very specific from him. He was expecting him to be better than the rest of humankind. And he was. He would listen. He was an Ish Tzaddik in this generation. He was very special, but he was not good enough. Why? Because he cared about himself and his family, and he cared about the animals that he took care for 40 days. He took care night and day about all those animals, right? But he didn't try to help other human beings realize who created this world. 10 generations after Noah comes Avram. Avram was born from an idol worshipping family, pagan. His father had a store of idols. You know the story, right? And Avram discovers something. He discovers that who created this skies, this heaven? They say that the sun is God, but the sun goes out. They say that the moon is a god, but the moon disappears. They say that this strength is so powerful, but it's not as powerful. And so, little by little, he intellectualizes this reflection, and he realizes that there is one God that created heavens and earth. And many years are going to pass before Hashem really reveals himself to him. But Avram is not going to keep quiet. Avram is not okay with the fact that people around him do not know Hashem. It's not okay. And I think that's why we inherited that sense of no, of course, that sense of feeling responsible for others from Avram. Because when you go to Israel and you ask for your path, I need to go to this direction, they will not just tell you how to go to this direction. And why do you want to go to this direction? Why? I know, don't go to that restaurant. Go to this other restaurant. I prefer, it's better. Right? Why? Because we care about one another. It's not for nothing. Avram is the 10th generation after Noah, 20 generations after creation, after Adam HaRishon, and he is the one who finally discovers what Hashem wants from us. He discovers that what Hashem wants from us is to make space for him in this world. The Chassidut teaches us that the reason why Hashem created this world is to have a dira betartonim, to have a dwelling place for him in this world. What does it mean? It means that he wants us to recognize him. He wants us to make space for him in our lives. How does that happen? We need an Avram. Avram also was described as an Ish, but this time an Ish Ivri. Contrary to Noah, he's an Ivri, which means what? A Hebrew? Means that against all odds, against all what everybody else thinks, he will continue to walk yashar, straight towards what he thinks and what he believes. And he's able to stand against everybody. It doesn't matter. We see that strength today. Look at Israel in the world. We stand for our conviction. We stand for what we think is right. The entire world is against. It doesn't matter. We know where we're going. Thank you. We don't need your approval. Some people say, oh, it's not good. The media communication is not. No, it's just that we're like that. That's how we transform the world. By being convinced and knowing where we are going, we transform the way people perceive the world. So Avram, who married Sarai, actually managed to do that. He would take food, he would have a tent open in the four corners so that everybody who would pass by his tent would come in, would eat a yummy meal in the middle of the desert even, and when they would tell Avram or Sarai, listen, it was, wow, it was good, your pitot, woo, and your Israeli salad and your hummus, amazing. How much do we owe you, Avram? Sarai, how much do we owe you? You don't owe me anything. Do you think I made this Israeli salad? Do you think that I made this pitot? Do you know how to create that? I didn't make anything. Hashem created this wheat. Hashem created this dirt. Hashem actually created heavens and earth. So don't thank me, thank him. Really? He is the one? There's one God that created everything? Yes. And that's how, little by little, little choice by little choice, little action by little action, they managed to really get a movement. People really started like recognizing HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And at that moment, Hashem unites with Avram. He does a covenant with Avram. And he says, from now on, from Avram, your name is going to change. I'm going to add one letter to your physical name. From Avram, you're now going to be Avraham. What is that hey? That hey is an opening for the spirituality to enter the physicality in his name. It's a first seed that is being planted here. Just a seed. And Sarai is going to be Sarah with a hey also. They earn a little bit. They are the keyhole through which the spiritual world is going to enter the physical world. They are the first keyholes. Now, Avraham and Sarah will have Yitzchak, right? And Yitzchak is also going to continue the work of his parents to be kind, to try to elevate, to make people understand who Hashem is, to try to create that movement from below upward. From below upward, Hashem, we know you, we recognize you, and we start elevating the physical, okay? Then comes Yaakov. Yaakov also does the same. And Yaakov has 12 kids who are called the Shvatim, right? The tribes, right? And those Shvatim, they are called, actually, they give the name to the Bnei Israel, the kids of Israel, Israel being Yaakov. And they continue that job of creating that movement from below upward, making space for Hashem in this world. Hashem promised Abraham, he said, you're going to be the father of a very big nation. But in order to become my nation, they will have to go through a training. That training is going to happen not in a spa, not in a retreat, no, in Mitzrayim. In Mitzrayim, they're going to be there for 400 years. They're going to be slaves over there. Really? Yeah. Because I want my nation to be very specific, to be very, very kind.
40 years or 400?
400 years. It's not going to be 400. It's going to be 210. But still, at first, that was the thing. What happened in Mitzrayim? Something happened. It's called a metamorphosis. Bnei Israel, the kids of Yaakov, enter, led by Yosef HaTzadik, Mitzrayim, Egypt. And they were very proud, and they were very admired in Egypt when they arrived. because Yosef had saved Egypt from hunger. So imagine, they came like really like it's cool to be a Jew, you know, like it's a geschmack to be a Yid at that time in Egypt. Écoute, it's my Ashkenazi roots. No, I don't have Ashkenazi roots, but it's okay. And so they enter Mitzrayim, and I want to bring you to a little parable. There is in the world an example of a transformation, of a physical transformation. It's called metamorphosis, and if you know basic biology, you know that a caterpillar has the potential, when it comes to life, to transform into a beautiful butterfly. How? A caterpillar at one point in its life is going to have a very weird instinct to turn around on itself until it gets totally paralyzed and stuck into what we call a cocoon, and it's basically just like a silk, like a heel of silk that is tightening him into that cocoon. Imagine the feeling. Imagine, come. I'm not going to turn you. But, no. But imagine the feeling. How does it feel? How does it feel? It's so uncomfortable. When you're tight like that, it's so uncomfortable that naturally, what do you want to do? Get out. So come again. How are you going to get out?
Spread my wings.
Okay, do. But at first it doesn't work.
Jen, she's getting very strong.
Go, try again. Exactly. It takes time and efforts to actually break free from the cocoon. Mitzrayim comes from Metzarim, which means limitations. In between narrowness, limitations, right? So it's very interesting to see that the Bnei Israel, who were descended from Abraham, right? From Yitzchak, Yaakov, they arrived with good vibes and kind midot in Mitzrayim. There, suddenly, something changed because there's a plan, there's a training in progress, and they're going to be trapped in slavery. During that period, they're going to suffer. And not a little bit. If you read the Haggadah, they're suffering. They lose even any form of human dignity. They are trained very hard to the point that only 20% of them will still believe that there is a way out, there is a redemption. Only 20% of the Bnei Israel will get out of Egypt. 80% will die in Egypt. They forgot about themselves. They forgot that Hashem exists. They forgot that there is a way to break free from slavery. They don't believe in it anymore. They don't trust in it. They don't have emunah anymore. And so they're wiped out. But those 20% who come out, 600,000 souls, who come out of Egypt, those have gained a strength by really like working their muscles to break free slowly. They broke free and they realized, wow, we have wings. Now we can fly. Yes. It's exactly the same metamorphosis that happens to a caterpillar to transform into the potential butterfly that he can be, that happened to us in Mitzrayim. We were transformed into Am Israel. We were transformed into a people who now know how not to treat other human beings, who now know how it feels in their own body to be disregarded their even smallest human dignity. So they come out in the desert. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take them in a place, a neutral place, that he's going to take care of all their physical needs, and he's going to teach them how to be, he's going to teach them how to be a better person during those 7 weeks, right? And one thing that he's going to do is teach them how to become a better version of themselves, to develop those midot tovot, and to care about one another. They arrive in Har Sinai, and in Har Sinai something crazy happened. In Har Sinai, what happens? We are going to experience and discover the last stage of creation. Now, the world, which, remember, this physical world, we said it's a body. The physical world is like a body. The world is ready to host its soul. Hashem is going to, why it's ready to host its soul? Because the world has been perverted, spoiled, and then purified. Its body went into the mikvah, and now that kli, that recipient, is finally ready for final stage of creation, which is going to happen right now. On the 6th of Sivan, 2448, something crazy happened. Hashem is going to speak, not the way he spoke to Abraham, not the way he spoke to Sarah, not the way he spoke to the prophets. No, he's going to speak the same way he spoke day 0 of creation, when he said those 10 utterances and created the world. This time he's going to say again 10 utterances, 10 commandments, the 10 commandments. And his voice is going to enter the recipient, that is the body. Do you remember how Adam HaRishon was created? Adam HaRishon was created from dirt, and then Hashem blew into its nostrils the neshama, the nishmat chaim, right? He blew into his nostril a neshama that gave life to that body. Now the earth is ready to receive its neshama. And what is that neshama? It's the voice of Hashem that is going to introduce the physical world. The spiritual world will be blown into the physical. How? The Torah says, on Har Sinai, the voice of Hashem was heard, not by the Bnei Israel only. The Bnei Israel were there at Har Sinai, but the entire universe experienced what happened in Har Sinai, because it's the last stage of creation, and that is for everyone in the world, for anything that was created on day 1, on day 2448, they heard the voice of Hashem, and the Torah says there was no echo. What is an echo? An echo is when your voice or a sound bounces back against a physical matter, whether it's a wall, whether it's a mountain. If you've been to... It was absorbed by the materiality. On Har Sinai, something changed the entire creation. That day, when Hashem said the words of the Torah, his mouth destroyed, pushed away, broke free of that klipa that was separating, that vav that was separating heavens and earth. And now, because there was this movement created by Abraham and inherited up to date by us, of making, elevating from below upward, desiring that Hashem comes to us, making that space for him to dwell with us, because of their action, it changed the entire face of the world. Now, spirituality was absorbed inside of the matter. And now, because here there is the name of Hashem, you cannot throw that painting. If you were to discard this painting, you'll have to give it to the Gniza. You can't throw it. You can't even abandon your Shabbos table in London, right? Exactly, even if it's IKEA. So here we see that Hashem at that moment changed the world. But there was a choice that was made, and a very important choice. The choice of one group of people to become Kadosh. You know, when there is a wedding, what happens? You have two people, a Kala and a Khatan, a bride and a groom. Groom. Okay? Those two people go under the chuppah, and something very weird happens at that moment. The husband is going to ask, the Khatan asks the Kala, Ariat mekudeshet li? You want to be Kadosh to me? What does Kadosh mean? You want to be distinct to me. You want to be like no other woman to me, not even my mom. Not even his mom. No one else will ever have the same relation as you to him. Why? Because at that moment, from two, you become one. From that moment, when the Kala says, Na'aseh v'nishma, I will do and I understand. She doesn't say that, but it's an allegory. Then she becomes one with her husband. And so it happened to us. Under Har Sinai, we were marrying Hashem in 2448. We said, Hashem asked, you want to be like no other people? You want to be my nation? You want to be the chosen one? You want to be Am Israel? Na'aseh v'nishma. And which is very interesting is that Na'aseh is in a singular form. It's not like we will do it. Yes, I'll do. And then we'll understand. It means that at that moment, not only Am Israel and Hashem became one, but all those individuals became one. We all became one. We're all interconnected. That's the reason why on October 7th, we couldn't eat, we couldn't breathe, we couldn't celebrate. For months, we were counting the days. Today I was listening to Rachel Goldberg-Poplin. She was counting the days and we were counting the days with her. Because we felt it. Because we cried, because we couldn't go to sleep and see our kids and not cry. And not say, thank you, Hashem, but there's another mom over there who cannot put her kid to sleep. That day we became one. That day, because Hashem gave us the Torah, but because we chose from Avraham Avinu, we chose to care. We chose to be kind. We chose to mind. Not our own business. Only. We chose to be sensitive to others. And that's why we're Am Israel. Am Israel is an Am Kadosh. It's a nation Kadosh. What does it mean again? Distinct. Ki ke'amcha, mi ke'amcha Israel. Who is like you? I was going to say in French. Who is like you, Israel? Qui est comme toi, Israël? Am Kadosh Ba'aretz. You are different from all the others. Why? Because you chose. You chose to create that movement. You chose to make that movement, to make that space for me in this world. And therefore, you are part of the creation of the world. Because you accepted the Torah, you allowed that voice of Hashem to finish the work, to finish creation. Do you realize the role we have in this world? And that's why there is a lot of hatred against Am Israel. Because they keep us accountable. And they're right. We have something to do with the world. We are an or lagoim, we are a light for the nation, and we have a mission. That mission is to be good people. Am Israel, therefore, depends from Am Israel's choice to accept the Torah. The world situation can be transformed. Well, yeah, why did I come to that class tonight? I was in my bed doing my stuff, not worrying, and now I realize that, yeah, you realize that there is no privilege without responsibility. Being the chosen people is a privilege, and we have the responsibility. We are responsible. And it's beautiful because we can choose to hold that responsibility high. So on Shavuot, we're Tuesday night, so in 2 days from now, 2 nights from now, just don't think only about the menu. No, it's important, the menu.
But not only.
Not only. Don't think only about the flowers on the table, even though now you know why you put flowers on your table, because it's the anniversary of your marriage with Hashem, right? And it's true.
It's true.
And we know that on our marriage, flowers were important. Which color are we going to do? And we were able to fight with our mother-in-law in order to get the color of the flower that we wanted. Okay? So, of course it's important. But that's not the essential. What is essential on Shavuot is to realize that, yeah, but not only, is that, yes, we are responsible for our Torah. And we have to think, what can I do today? I turn on Instagram, I turn on YouTube, I turn on X or whatever, and I complain. Look at those crazy people in New York, that Mamdani, Meshugale. Yes, of course, you can complain, but you can also do something. What can you choose to do in order to continue to transform a little bit more that world that needs us to transform it? One thing, one action. Does it need to be we don't jump from Tel Aviv to Mea Shearim, right? We don't jump from Ibiza to Lakewood. No, that's not what Hashem wants. Hashem didn't make us grow up in Miami or Paris or whatever in a non-religious environment in order for us to strive and make it difficult. No. It's because he needs us to elevate that part of the physicality that only us can elevate. If I had not been born in Paris in 1977, in that part of Paris, in that family, no one would have been able to elevate those sparks of this world, of creation. You were born in this family. The people who are around you, your husband, your kids, your best friend, your parents, are the people you should impact first. You have the power. How? First, kindness. Where do we learn that from? Ruth. From Moab, perversion, selfishness, etc. she was able to become the kindest person. And thanks to her choices of transforming herself and making small choices of kindness, comes David HaMelech and comes Mashiach. So we understand Hashem is making us read Megillat Ruth on Shavuot because that's the key. The key to Torah is be kind. Again, remember that Hillel Hazaken was asked by someone who wanted to convert to Judaism. He said, teach me Torah on one foot. Hillel said, okay. And you will love your fellow like you love yourself. All the rest is detail on how to get there. The entire Torah relies on that. Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. You will love your fellow like you love yourself. Which means, do you realize that, of course, you should love your fellow like you love yourself? Because do you privilege your right hand or your left hand? Your right foot or your left foot? It's part of the same body. And so are we. Am Israel, we're part of the same body. We said it already at the beginning of the class. So whatever is good for me is good for you. Why am I going to be sensitive to my own needs when I can be sensitive to yours? So this is something that can elevate us. Be sensitive to others. Be kind and start inside of your house. Because somehow, I don't know why, it's easier to be kinder with people outside of the house than inside. So make an extra action of kindness at home. And it starts with you. If you're not kind with you, who will be kind with you? So be kind to you. Speak to yourself in your head nicely. No one will ever dare speaking to you the way you speak to yourself. It's crazy. One day I saw my daughter, my 7-year-old, in front of the mirror, and she was going like, ach. And so I said, and see how she looks so cute, my little Sarah. I said, Sarah, why do you say ach? Like that. She said, I don't know, you always do that when you look at yourself in the mirror. And I'm like, oh my God, really? She said, yeah, why? And I'm like, don't do that, I'm gonna stop. So I say it only when she's not there. No, no, but it makes you realize, wow, love yourself. And then because you love yourself and you're full with acceptance of who you are, how Hashem made you, even through aging and through life and through the moments where it's more difficult or the moments where it's even incredibly tough, bring yourself that love because you know that Hashem loves you. And that's why he let us hear that second song. Hashem Yitbarach Tamid Ohev Oti V'tamid Yeh Li Rak Tov. Hashem Yitbarach Tamid Ohev Oti V'tamid Yeh Li Rak Tov. If he loves you, love yourself, love your fellow. Bring a smile even when it's tough. Make a little act of kindness towards your husbands first, second after you. And then your kids, because the act of kindness that you do towards your husband is already an act of kindness to your kids. And then spread it around and around and around and enlarge the circle of kindness. And this is how we bring Hashem in our lives. So I wish you Chag Sameach. May HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us the zchut to welcome him, to create more space for him, to be mindful about what he wants from us, and that we should see ripple effects on the world. Bezrat Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I'm just going to turn off that.
God, I made a little bit.
No, why? Are you kidding? Thank you for coming. Baruch Hashem.
I didn't give up.
I don't even know.